What's up, everybody? My name is Chad. You're watching Downshift Pass, and this is the 2024 Lexus GX550 Premium Plus. And that's right, folks, we do have the GX550 Premium Plus trim level today. Of course, we're going to go over the exterior, but you do have the option to control the window independently of the tailgate. The interior, I will say this is the part of the car that feels a little less luxury. I'm going to take it for a drive. And do the audio test. So if that's something that you are interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and continue watching. All right, folks, and let's go ahead and take a look first at the most exciting part of the Lexus GX550, and that is the exterior styling of this handsome truck. Now, taking a look at the front end here, this headlight unit, of course, is full LED. So you have LED daytime running light, turn signal, as well as your triple beam headlights there. This does have washers for the headlights as well on the Premium Plus trim. And then down below, you do have fog lights as well as cornering lights, which are all LED. Now, as we move to the center, taking a look at this Lexus spindle grille, which is pretty familiar on all the Lexus products. Now, they did switch it up a little bit on the GX. They added a bar down below to kind of break up the largeness of this grille. And I think they did a really good job of kind of breaking it up and making it look a little bit more cohesive. Now, as we move along to the side of the truck, this is my favorite angle of the truck. It just looks really strong, really big, but it is really easy to maneuver. So stick around for the drive for that. Now, these wheels here are specific to the Premium Plus trim. They are a 20-inch wheel, and they are on Yokohama tires, Geolander, straight from the factory. Now, coming down the side here, you do have this nicely shaped rearview mirror here, also keeping up with that boxy square design. Turn signal on that as well. And down below, you do have running boards, which are fixed to this vehicle, fixed to the Premium Plus trim level. If you do want power deployable running boards, they do come on the luxury trim. Now, as we move along to the back here, this angle doesn't look as aggressive to me, but still pretty good. Of course, you have a full LED unit for the tail light as well. This light bar actually lights up the entire way, so I love that. LED brake light, turn signal, as well as reverse mirror. You have reflectors down there. GX550 badging, and Lexus spelled out nice and boldly back here. Now, while we're back here, let's go ahead and open this tailgate. You can use the button, you can use your foot to wave it, or you can use the actual key. And here we are. This is a 3-row SUV. The GX, all trim levels have 3 rows except for the overtrail. So if you want a 3rd row, you cannot get the overtrail. Pretty decent space right here. I mean, I don't know what you'll put back here, umbrella or something, but you can power fold these seats as well. There we go. You can power fold these seats as well, so that's really neat. And you can power fold them independently of each other. So if you just need to fold one side down, you do have that option. Now, to close it up, again, push the button here, wave your foot, or use the key. Now, one really neat thing that I think Lexus did, they got rid of the swing gate if you're familiar with the previous GX. So now it's just your regular tailgate, but you do have the option to control the window independently of the tailgate. So you can open it up just like that. So if you need to reach in and just grab something, boom, you can do that. If you're short on clearance for the full tailgate, you have the window option as well. But that's the exterior of the GX. Oh, one final thing, towing. This particular model is rated to tow 8,900 pounds. It is different for different trim levels, but 8,900 on the Premium Plus. But again, that's pretty much it for the exterior styling. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of it. I think it's super, super handsome, and it definitely gets a lot of attention. But hopping on the inside of the GX, folks, of course, you can use your key here, typical Lexus key. You have your lock, you have your unlock. You can use the button here to open the tailgate, like I mentioned before, and then a panic button. But if you want to go ahead and get in the car with the key in your pocket, hand on the handle, it'll unlock. If you want to lock it, you just use this button here and it will lock right up. But we're going to go ahead and hop inside and take a look at this startup sequence on the GX. So foot on the brake, start button is to the right here, foot on the brake. and the car comes to life. Now, just taking a look at this interior space, folks, Lexus, per normal, did a really good job of the interior space. It looks like what it costs. I feel like the Land Cruiser just really did not do that. But taking a look, starting here on the driver's side, you do have auto one-touch window controls for the front and rear. And the rear window actually goes all the way down, which I absolutely appreciate. Now, as we move along to the side here, you do have 3-person memory seats. All your functions for the buttons down here. This car does have a head-up display as well. Leather wrapped and heated steering wheel, and the heat feels amazing. And then taking a look at the info or the driver screen here, shows your speedometer, your tachometer, and you have different options that you can choose from to control it. So you can control the left side, the right side, and the middle. You can control them independently to customize exactly what you want using these buttons on the right hand side or the left hand side. The buttons on the right hand side are going to be for all your cruise control functions as well as radio functions down below. Paddle shifters to control the 10-speed automatic transmission. And then moving along right here to the huge infotainment system. This is a 14.2-inch screen. I will say this is the part of the car that feels a little less luxury, if I may say, because it is in all the Lexus SUVs, and it's just really doesn't really feel that special. But touchscreen, of course, your climate controls here, I love that they don't move whatsoever. So although they are buttons, although they are not buttons, they don't move. So you get familiar with their positioning. Heated as well as cooled seats. Like I said, heated steering wheel here as well. This is how you control your temperature. You do have 3-zone climate control, so driver, passenger, as well as rear. And then you do have physical buttons for certain things. So your front window defroster, rear window defroster, as well as the defroster for the rearview mirrors. Here are all a physical button, and the volume knob is physical. Thank you for at least that. Now moving down below, you do have your drive mode select here. Second ECT is for your transmission. Tow haul mode, you don't have all the off-road goodies that you get on, say, the Overtrail, but this still is a body on frame SUV that can off-road. Now right here is where you have a 12-volt, have 2 USB ports here as well. And although this looks like it should move, it actually does not. But I found if I let this down and close this a little bit, it's a great place for you to just rest your phone if you want your phone sitting there. 2 cup holders as well. And then PRND, very simple, over for manual control to control the 10-speed transmission. Auto hold, and this is how you lock the differentials or put it in high 4 or low 4 for the 4-wheel drive system. You do have a wireless charger here as well that works pretty nicely. Leather wrapped everywhere. And then you do have great storage in the middle console here. Now right here you do have storage. It almost doesn't look like it, but you can throw a phone there. It'll sit comfortably for your passengers. And then this has been getting stuck for me. There we go. This is a press vehicle, so no telling how many people have used it, but you do have pretty decent space in the glove compartment as well. But that's pretty much it for the front of the GX550. Again, a very comfortable place to be. Leather wrapped here, just really feels good. But let's go ahead and hop in the rear of the GX550. Now, spacing back here is probably not what you expect. Again, body on frame SUV, so spacing is going to be a little tighter than a crossover, but still pretty decent space. Just to let you know, the seat is in its fully back position because it just automatically does that when you cut the car off. And I still have pretty decent space underneath the seat to put my feet. Again, you do have one touch for the windows here. Something very random to me, but I love that the locks are physical. It kind of gives that old school feel. Now, remember I said this does have a 3-zone climate control. This is how it is controlled here. So fan speed, temperature, heated seats in the rear as well, which is really nice. 2 USB-C ports. You do have mat pockets on both sides of the vehicle, and then a nice armrest with 2 more cup holders here. Of course, you have your map lights, and then you do have vents that sit in the ceiling versus sitting right here somewhere. So In the ceiling, you do have vents as well. And these seats honestly are pretty comfortable. They're not as hard as I thought they would be. A lot of back seats in SUVs are pretty hard, but these are comfortable, heated. You won't have any issues at all. The one thing I will say is if you do have a child seat, this cut through right here kind of takes into a lot of space for the actual back door. So if you're back here, your clothes are probably going to get dirty. So just be mindful of that. Now, to gain access into that third row back there, you have this latch right here. You just pull this down and the seat just automatically folds forward. And this, oh, I forgot it's power. This is going to be your third row. One really neat thing, watch that seat cushion at the bottom there. I love how that pops out, just something really neat. But this is only for 2 people in the third row. And take a look at that leg room back there. It's actually pretty nice. It does sit low, so your knees are kind of in your face, but the leg room is actually plentiful. And you know what? Let me just go ahead and hop back here to show you guys. All right, so I am in the third row. Again, my knees are touching the back. They kind of are sitting up, but if you need to sit back here for a short period of time, it's not bad. Great headroom as well. So not a terrible place to be. You are mighty close to that, but not a bad place to be for the third row. Now let's take a look under the hood of the GX550. Love this big brawny hood here. Now, of course, this is a Lexus product, so it is supported by struts. And this is it, folks. This is a 2.4 liter twin turbocharged 6-cylinder engine. So if you want a 6-cylinder, not a hybrid powertrain, got to get the Lexus over the Land Cruiser. Produces 349 horsepower, 427 pound-feet of torque. And again, it is a 10-speed automatic transmission. And we're going to talk about the engine a little bit more in the drive. But let me know down in the comments, again, what you think of the Lexus GX and all the features I just showed you. But without further ado, let's just take this thing out. All right, folks, setting out here in the 2024 Lexus GX550. I've been living with this car for about 7 days now, and I've gotten really familiar with it and really have learned to love it. Now, right now, I do have the car in its normal mode. Every time you start the car, it'll be in that. You do have eco mode and you do have sport mode in this big body on frame SUV as well. Now, sport mode is not going to do too much to the vehicle except make the throttle a lot more sensitive, and it also makes the 10-speed transmission respond a lot better. And it really surprises me at how much of a difference it is between the eco, normal, and sport mode, especially the sport mode, to motivate this car to get going. But we'll go ahead and try it out in sport mode. So you take the mode select here, turn it all the way over, and then it goes down in sport mode. You have a nice little graphic here. And then I'm going to brake torque it here, foot all the way on the brake, on the gas. Here we go. Now, Lexus says this car will do 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds. I have no reason to believe that to not be the case. It does move out pretty well. Brake torquing it, believe it or not, actually does something to the vehicle. It makes it a little bit more sprightly, I feel like. It's a really nice powertrain here. So again, body on frame SUV. This car does soak up the bumps really, really nicely. The one thing I was worried about is if you've driven the last generation GX, then you know how much of a boat it felt like. And I was wondering if they were going to fix it. I just felt like they had to bring it more into the modern world, and they actually have. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in this normal mode. See that animation there? Just to kind of showcase how I've been driving it normally. But yeah, the last generation GX had a lot of pitch. It had a lot of nosedive if you went on the brakes too hard. The steering was just really horrendous. It drove like a truck. And, you know, some people really like that. I wasn't a personal fan of it. It just made it feel really like an ancient vehicle. But Lexus did a really good job of modernizing the drive of the GX. And honestly, it's like the best of both worlds. So if you have to go off-roading or do some off-roady things, I'm absolutely confident this car will be able to do it and do it very, very well. But for where it's going to spend most of its time, when you're wheeling and dealing around Neiman Marcus parking lot, this car is easy to maneuver, number one, and feels really, really good doing it. So I won't even begin to talk about its sporty intentions, or he's not even looking, or even things of a sporty nature for this vehicle, because that's not what it's about. But I was surprised that when I did try to put it through its paces, it held on pretty nicely. All right, folks, and getting onto the highway here in the Lexus GX550, if you just heard that, that's that twin turbo kicking in. I'm gonna get over and do what this car does best, which is just cruise. Now, you do have some self-driving functionality in the vehicle as well. I'll do that with the road, with the audio test. All right, folks, let's listen to the outside noise getting into the cabin for a minute. Now, this is a pretty quiet vehicle. It is a nice windy day, but I mean, right now we have a big block flying through this wind at 75 miles an hour. So it's going to come with some noise, but surprisingly, this is a really nice cabin, a really quiet cabin to be in, especially at highway speeds. It was one of the first things I noticed when I got the car and put it on the highway. As far as highway ride quality, very nice, very comfortable, easy to track straight. A lot of these body-on-frame SUVs are a little cumbersome to drive. This car does not give that whatsoever. I have the heated steering wheel on right now, as well as the heated seat, and they both feel phenomenal. You can actually feel the heat. Doesn't get too hot, but you definitely still feel it. Seat comfort, especially for long road trips, is A1. Lexus did a really awesome job of that as well. Overall, it's just a really nice car to take on a road trip. And if you are looking at the Land Cruiser, to me, there is a clear difference. Now, this is the Lexus model, so of course it's going to be a little bit more comfortable to drive, but the Land Cruiser felt like more of a truck. This feels like, it still feels like a truck, but not in a bad way. It doesn't feel, like I said, cumbersome to drive. It's just a very comfortable ride. The Land Cruiser felt a little bit more wallowy. This feels a little bit more stable, and I really value that over the Land Cruiser. All right, GX. All right. Again, folks, you will have no problems getting onto the highway in this car, especially versus the last generation or that 4-cylinder hybrid in the Land Cruiser. But this is about the Lexus. Now, this car does have the standard stereo system. The upgraded audio system is going to be a Mark Levinson system with, I think, 21 or 22 speakers, a ton. This is just your standard audio system. It does have 10 speakers in it. Now, just rolling into my final thoughts of the Lexus GX550, folks, I really have to admit something about this car, and it is that I love everything about this truck. From the way that it looks to the way that it drives. You know, when I first drove the Land Cruiser, if you take a look at my other review, I'll go ahead and post it up here. Watch it after this one. It was a 1958 model. And when you compare the price difference, my mind was like, just get just get this car. It's pretty much the same, drives the same, different powertrains, but very similar setups, you know? That's really not the case. I don't feel that way anymore. The Lexus one has the V6. The V6 you notice completely. The hybrid powertrain in the Land Cruiser sounds terrible. I mean, for a car that's $60,000, it sounds literally like worse than a Corolla, in my opinion. And I also reviewed a Corolla. I don't remember even thinking that the engine sounded that bad. Now, I know neither one of these cars are built for that, but when you start looking at luxury and paying these luxury prices, you kind of expect certain things, and this gives you all of that. You have the great materials used on the inside, you have the quality look on the outside. You will get the Lexus experience as far as dealership experience, service experience. You know, those things start to add up. And for the price difference between a Land Cruiser and this, I say just go ahead and, if you have it, toss the extra money at this. Gas mileage aside, I won't talk about that. I live in a city setting. My gas mileage has been abysmal in this truck. I'm talking about terrible, but a lot of my driving is very short and it's in a city setting. So I won't knock it for that because I didn't get a chance to truly experience the best gas mileage that the car can get. But if you made it this far in the video, I absolutely appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you learned something new from it. Share it with a friend as well. That way I could be sure to get more cool cars like this one. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.